It's Rob!
Tony! And I'm Jeff.
We're in gaming.
And that's you.
Hello gamers and welcome back to the Inn. I'm Rob, of course, or Warshack if you want to call me by my in-game name, and we're going to be playing some Control Warrior 2.0, really expensive deck. Let me say that off the bat, so there's going to be a lot of legendaries in this deck, a lot of epics, so if you can't afford it, I'm sorry. It's just one of those decks that I need to cover because Control Warrior, you're going to see it, but on the, the bottom end of that is it's a really expensive deck. So I'm sorry. But the deck guide will remain the same as all the other deck guides. Of course, we're going to be playing 3 ranked games. We'll talk and explain why I do what I do throughout the game, and then we'll talk about the deck list at the very end. Obviously, we're going to get rid of the Brawl and Ysera, keeping the 2-drop and the 3-drop. We got a Bash and a Weapon. So this hand is actually... If we were going against any other class, I would say it's absolutely perfect, besides maybe not having a War Axe, but besides that, it's still a great hand. I mean, we've got our 2-drop or 3-drop, we've got a damage 3-drop, a weapon, which we always look for. Remember, when you're playing a Warrior, Fiery War Axe, or the Despite is just something you need off the bat every time. If you don't have one, mulligan till you do. So, of course, going to throw down the Armor Smith on turn 2. We could have armored up, but I think the Armor Smith is just a good play down there. I mean, you can't coin into the Despite, so it's going to live. And then the following turn, we can throw down the Alkalite, so if he does have a weapon, he's going to have to choose between the two. Either way, I'm drawing and I have creatures on the board. When going against another warrior, creatures on the board normally aren't that important early game because, Control Warrior is a very... So he does have the Despite. And he's going to kill the Alkalite. Okay, so he's going to leave the Apprentice. And we're going to draw into a Shield Team. We're going to obviously just play the Alkalite. Play the Armor Smith's passive and just swing for 1. There's really no other play there. The following turn we can play Sledge Belcher since his Despite will lose that being able to do 5 damage because it does do 4, and then the Despite makes a Whirlwind effect, which does the extra 1, which normally if you play a 5-drop, the Despite kills it, which is very sad. Alright, so he killed the Armor Smith again. We're going to be able to draw 1 from the Alkalite. Maybe an Execute. I don't think so. But, okay, so he plays his Sledge Belcher. I'm pretty sure we're just going to play our Sledge Belcher. Raise him a Sledge Belcher, and end our turn. And then, what I was talking about before, actually... I don't really see another play here besides Sledge Belcher. I mean, we could coin into our 6-drop. I mean, we could Despite and swing into it and kill it, but it's not doing anything. We've got a decent amount of cards in our hand. Health is relatively irrelevant right now, so I think just playing this and ending it isn't... We're not getting anywhere. And we can probably save coin to maybe an 8 or 9 drop, because we don't really have a turn 7 play right now. Because we're still hanging on to that coin. So like I was saying, with Control Warrior versus Control Warrior, it's just an all-value matchup. Control Warrior is a very late-game deck. You're able to last the early game because of Bash and your weapons. But for the most part, ooh, Emperor is very nice. But for the most part, you got to depend on turn, I would say 5+ to really do anything. Like significant strides in the game. Of course, you can do stuff early on, but it's more so just maintaining the field and making sure it doesn't get out of control more so than actually winning early on. If you're winning early on as a Control Warrior, you got to teach me something, because that shit's cray. Alright, so we can Despite here and get through that Sledge Belcher, try to push on the field, but I think Emperor isn't a bad play here. I mean, we've got a good amount of cards in our hand, so we'd really benefit from it. He can't really get through the Sledge Belcher as of now. I mean, if he uses a weapon, he'll be able to trade with his Shield Maiden, but even trading after we get 1 use of the Emperor still isn't bad, because we still have a decent amount of cards in our hand. And let's draw. We got the Baron, so that's good. And the reason I killed off the Alkalite is because when I end my turn, it's obviously going to reduce all the cards in my hand's cost by 1. And the Alkalite on the field doesn't grant me a card, but if it's dead, I can draw 1. It just makes 1 card. Oh my god, what's wrong with me? Costs 1 less. I'm going to get a drink before I die. We're good now. Theoretically. Okay, so worst case right now is our Emperor dying and him clearing the field, but it's not going to happen as of now, unless he has maybe a weapon. Okay, so he Shield Maidens into our Sledge, his Sledge into our Mini Sledge, and then Sylvanas, okay. Oh no, he's going to kill the Sylvanas, he's going to take my Emperor. Fuck. You always can expect a warrior to do some thing bad. I had a word in my head and then I just lost it. I was going to say like swang doodle, but that didn't even fucking make sense. I don't even know where the hell swang doodle came from. Alright, so I see a play revolving around Baron right now. I see the Shield Maiden's at 2 health. The Sludge Belcher's at 3, but if we kill the Sludge Belcher, the Slime has 2 health, and then we have the Bash in our hand, which can take the Emperor down to 2 health. So, because the Baron cost 6, I don't think Baron... Yeah, because... I don't know, we're not going to be able to Bash. We'll have to coin if we do the route with Bash. And I kind of want to hold on to the Execute, because the Execute's very effective, as more the Shield Slam is only valuable when you have armor. And who says I'll have armor, but the Execute's always valuable, because damaging a minion is what the Warrior deck does. So I think playing the Baron, that's just gonna... It's a forced play, we have to do this. I don't really see a better... I mean, we could Brawl, but that's all chancy. Alright, so we're gonna coin, we're gonna be able to Bash the Emperor, and then we're going to Shield Slam the... Sludge Belcher, making it pop to the Slime. We're going to end our turn. It's going to clear the field. Baron's going to live. We're going to be happy. Worst case scenario now is him having, you know, maybe like a Taskmaster weapon. Baron dying is bad. Fuck, I said I'm working on the Oh, Big Game Hunter is a bad thing to happen too, but at least he used Big Game Hunter now instead of maybe on like Dr. Boom or something. Baron really, it's a 7-5, so the health really isn't there. So if it dies, not a big deal. So I think True Heart right here, and then... Weapon maybe, but I'm thinking maybe True Heart just passive, or we could throw down the Sylvanas and he's gonna have to make trades. I think Dresscard's the best play here, and then we'll just pass it. We'll go with number 1. We'll go with the number 1. Okay, so he's obviously probably just gonna kill off his Big Game Hunter to kill our 6/3. That would make sense. Maybe he'll slam into a Sludge Belcher. That'd be ideal for us. Or he can just bash it and use 2 mana to kill our 6-drop. That's value. All right, so he's gonna armor up. He's got 5 mana left. Is he gonna utilize it? I don't think he is. Attacking's normally the last thing. Nope, did not utilize that 5 mana. Alright, so Sylvanas is the only creature in our hand here. Unfortunately, he could just kill off the Sylvanas and it'll only take a 1/2 Slime. So that's really not that great, but it's their only play right now. And we'll just pass it for the 4 extra armor, obviously. I mean, I guess we could have threw on a weapon and smashed into the Sludge Belcher, but I don't... It's just going to have to use both charges on one Belcher because it's going to have 1 health left. Unless I want to use like a Shield Slam. And Shield Slam against another Warrior on a Sludge Belcher after we already used a Shield Slam on it really isn't that great. We got to take in consideration he hasn't played anything big. And of course we're playing against Control Warrior. That's no doubt by now because he's playing Belchers and Shield Maidens. So you know he's got relatively the same amount of cards in his deck as mine, well, legendaries, that is, whether it be Dr. Boom, Baron, Hellscream, Rag, Ysera. So we have to save our executes and some of our, damaging, or some of our field clear for that. Not so much just a Belcher. Even though it is a creature on the field and it may look annoying, we got to save it. Very common misconception, like if you see a creature, oh my god, it has to die right away. Sometimes it doesn't. When you're playing Control Warrior, it's very important that you just don't blow all your CC on things that don't really need to die. I've seen a lot of Warrior players, just waste everything to kill everything, and that just you need to kill like the most important stuff. You have limited removal, you gotta save it. So obviously we're gonna gain 5 armor, see what we can draw into passive, and I really don't see anything. If we equipped a weapon, we're prone to Harrison. And I don't want to be prone to Harrison because him drawing more cards isn't good. I mean, he has 5 cards in hand to my 6. I don't want to give him that kind of advantage. And us taking a ton of damage right now, we're only taking 7 damage and we can pretty much heal for 4. So we're taking 3 a turn. Not that bad. So I think right here is Dr. Boom passive time. And then we'll also just end our turn again. We could again do the weapon, but then I don't feel like getting Harrison. I want to at least get 1 attack with the weapon off, but if I attack the Sludge Belcher, it's not going to kill it, so there's really no point again. I think I'm just going to end here and have to see what he does. Having the Sylvanas on the field is nice. Also, if he doesn't kill the Sylvanas, he plays more stuff. Let's say he executes like the Dr. Boom. We're going to be able to Brawl, and if we Brawl next turn and he plays something big, it ends up killing our Dr. Boom, and if our Sylvanas dies, we'll be able to take something. And if it lives, of course, then having a Sylvanas on the field is fantastic anyway, because your opponent always has to play around it. But he does have the Death Spite, so if he attacks with that this turn, next turn he'll be able to clear the Sylvanas because of the Death Rattle. So everything I just said, kind of pointless. Fuck. It's all what this warrior is gonna do. It all depends. We just have to wait. Lie and wait. Sorry guys, my voice is kind of going out. I just got done doing a presentation for one of my classes. Very spooky. So our Dr. Boom, okay. Is he gonna Brawl? Okay, so he did Brawl. Wow, this could be really good or really bad. Actually, I don't think it could be bad. We have a Sylvanas on the field. We still have a Sylvanas on the field. Nice. Double bomb to the face, a 3 and a 4. Nice damage bombs. Thank you, Sylvanas, for living. I really appreciate that. So he's going to Jusk our True Heart. So we're obviously going to have to kill the True Heart no matter what, because it'll be able to kill our Sylvanas without getting any value. And if he's smart, he'll attack with his weapon here. So even if I do, well, he didn't. Okay. So what's the best way to get rid of True Heart? Probably weapon. Use our 4-drop weapon, because we really have no way to use all of our mana this turn. So we might as well use the higher drop one. We'll throw it on the Sledge Belcher, and we'll swing. I suppose if we use the 3-drop one, we could have also used our passive. So I guess maybe using the 3-drop was better in that situation. Also, having the Sledge Belcher guard the Sylvanas means he can't really hit it with his weapon to execute it if that's what he was going to do. So if he ends up playing like a Ysera or something right here, we'll actually be able to take the Ysera, which will be really nice.
What now?
Alright, so he's playing Cold Light, which makes me think he's playing Fatigue Warrior. Normally Cold Light, Fatigue Warrior meaning he depends on you decking out. I think he actually is playing Fatigue Warrior because he's running Death Lord. Okay, so that's kind of changes. He's actually not playing the Control Warrior like expected. Alright, so this could actually be pretty good. We just drew into Alexstrasza. He's got 30 health. That's going to be a big player here no matter if he's playing Fatigue Warrior or not. I mean, a 15 damage Alexstrasza. And then I assume smash our Sledge into his Death Lord, execute it, see what we get. I mean, normally you don't really get any great creatures out of it, but we've already used, well, 2 of our Armor Smiths and a Shield Maiden. So, oh boy! No way. This is lethal, guys. You thought you were safe at 34 health? Hellscream and Sylvanas with the Alexstrasza combo says no. Oh boy! This guy has to be upset right now. Oh man. Oh man, oh man. Holy shit! Ripping the check, boys. Oh man, that's crazy. I think I got really excited. I got too excited. Let's tone it down a little bit. I mean, it may not have been as crazy as what I thought it was. I mean, 34 health in 1 turn. What the fuck? Yeah, that was crazy. Oh man. You thought you were safe at full health and 4 armor with a taunt on the field. Boy, you were wrong. Alright, so going into game number 2 now. I don't think it's going to be as crazy as the ending of our game number 1. But, wow. Holy moly. Alright, so obviously we're keeping the War Axe. We're getting rid of the Brawl and Sledge Belcher. We may even keep the Shield Block just for the draw. And we don't really have another 3-drop besides Bash. We'll get rid of it. Fuck it. Let's see if we can get a Bash or an Alkalite. That would be ideal. We normally don't need any crazy armor against a Druid early on. Because the Druid, unless he's playing Cancer Druid, I don't think we have really anything to worry about. So we're going to coin into the Armor Smith here only because we have War Axe. If we didn't have 2 2-drops, I would never coin into this. But because we do have 2 2-drops, that is why I'm going to coin into the Armor Smith. So he played the Darnassus Aspirant thinking maybe I don't have War Axe because I coined into the Armor Smith. It would be retarded because that'd be the only reason I coined into Armor Smith. But either way, we're going to kill the Darnassus Aspirant without a doubt. That anytime, always remember, because I think I mentioned this in a video before. Druids normally, well, not normally, but prior to TGT had no solid 2-drop, so keeping a removal, you know, whether it be a Dark Bomb, a Quick Shot if you're a Hunter, a Frostbolt if you're a Mage, and now Bash if you're a Warrior or a War Axe, not that you wouldn't keep War Axe as a Warrior anyway, but it makes it more efficient for you to, instead of like throwing back the Frostbolt when you normally would against a Druid prior to TGT, now that they have Darnassus Aspirant as that 2-drop, that's so impactful because it has that wild growth attached to it, to definitely keep, you know, a 2-drop CC spell just for the Darnassus Aspirant. That is too big of a card for you guys to ignore, no matter what kind of Druid he's playing, whether it's mid-range Druid, Ramp Druid, or Cancer Druid. So we're going to swing for 1, end our turn. We're going to keep the 1 charge on our weapon, even though we have our Death Spite. So worst case, he plays a 4 HP creature, and we're going to have to override our War Axe, and we should have attacked last turn. Fuck, we should have attacked last turn because we have the Death Spite this turn. Damn it. And he's going to innervate out maybe another Darnassus Aspirant. Oh, he's going to innervate half a Darnassus Aspirant, the Wild Growth. Okay. So from here, I really don't see anything else but killing the Azure Drake. I mean, we could have smashed into it with a creature and save a Death Spite charge, or I mean a War Axe charge, but I would rather keep having creatures on the field as of now. Also, if we would have attacked with our Armor Smith, it would have died and we wouldn't have been able to get the 2 armor Death Rattle from our Whirlwind effect from our Death Spite this turn. Him playing Ancient Allure is really good here. He's going to draw 2, which isn't great, but our Death Spite, like I said, is going to be able to kill that 5-drop because of its Death Rattle. Along with that, we're going to be able to get 2 armor and draw a card. So obviously we're going to attack it first, see what we draw. Normally I see also because the Whirlwind effect, and if we play True Heart, we obviously don't want it taking 1 damage. Okay, so we're going to play True Heart. There's really no other great 6-drop to play. I suppose we could have played Sylvanas just in case he plays like Ancient of War. So I think maybe Sylvanas was a good play there. But he can still Keeper of the Grove it. But then he would have done that anyway if he had it, unless he's going to do it now. Sylvanas might have been a good play there. But I like having True Heart out as soon as possible because the passive being upgraded by 2 armor really does help. 4 armor a turn is insane. Also, we're kind of getting low. I mean, not low, but we're at 21 health, and all druids needed 14 to do combo, and if they get the double Savage Roar, then that's even more damage. So we always have to watch out for when we're playing against a druid for that Force of Nature combo, like Force of Nature Savage Roar combo. I mean, when we did our Ramp Druid 2.0 guide, I made multiple points in the video to, you know, mention that kind of lethal zone and how to play against druid, along with how to play druid. But, I mean, you really can't hammer that out enough. A druid has an insane amount of burst damage if they've got Innervates and Savage Roar. So we Dr. Boom on turn 8. I don't really know why it took him so long to play Boom. Boom on turn freaking 6. If you can coin him out on turn 7, he's great. Turn 8, he's great. Turn 9, Dr. Boom's fantastic. Turn 10, he's great too. So I think we're going to bash into this. And Shield Slam? Normally we couldn't have really done that. And now we're going to swing, obviously, directly with our 6 attack. And then from here, we need to attack into the bots, because I don't want the bots attacking me. But which a bot to attack first is the question, and which creature to attack. I mean, which bot doesn't matter, but which creature to attack. So I think the Armor Smith is the better one. Maybe? I don't fucking know. Armor Smith down. Alright, Alkalite, please don't kill my 6/3. No. Okay, 2 damage. Alright, I lose by 1, which means we are prone to swipe right now. So if he swipes face, both our creatures will die. Oh no. But he already used 1 swipe. So he's Druid in the Claw, he still has 4 mana left. And he's gonna swipe face. Alright. That's expected. When swipe would be most effective, they've got swipe. I'm a druid. Okay. So bash, kill it with our weapon, and turn. I really don't see another great play here. I wish we could passive, but we can't. And I suppose we could have used a War Axe and then also passived, but I kind of want to save my Death Rattle. I want to be able to do 5 damage because of the Death Rattle, because not that I knew he was gonna play Tharzin or anything, but having, you know, that more than 3 damage is nice, and we're gonna be able to kill his Emperor with this War Axe without a doubt. So we're gonna kill that shit. I see Dr. Boom passive, turn 9 play. It doesn't fucking matter. Dr. Boom's a beast. If you don't have him, craft him. I've said that in so many of my videos. But you just gotta do it, guys. He's like that freaking Nike commercial with, what's his name? Shia LaBeouf. Just do it. Do that shit. Craft Dr. Boom. Don't question it. Just don't question. Just let it happen. Alright, so he killed a bomb. Bomb, what are you gonna hit for? 2 damage. That's halfway between. Oh god, we got Big Game Hunter. Okay, and he's gonna Loatheb, so we can't cast spells. Oh no, we can't cast 2 brawls in 1 turn. Shit. Fuck. I really wanted to double brawl. Man, what am I gonna do now? I think we're just gonna have to attack with our bomb into the 4/2, and hopefully it does some damage to Loatheb or kills off the 4/2. Don't go face. Fuck you, bomb. You did 1 damage, and you could have hit either creature, and that would have been great, but no. So now we have to Shield Maiden, Weapon, and kill off the Big Game Hunter, which we just attacked into. Passive, of course, and now Loatheb can kill our 5/5, and if he has Force of Nature, Savage Roar, that's going to be a fuck ton of damage, and it's all because that Boom bot decided to do 1 fucking damage. to the wrong person. Thanks, Boombot. He hasn't played Force of Nature or Savage Roar yet. So he's going to do 2 damage to that. A Wraith. Another Keeper. Okay. Passive. Okay. Wow, use both Keeper of the Groves to deal 2 damage each. He must have not had any other comp. Like, I would have never done that. Wasting Silence on that's really important. Or really big, because now we can play Sylvanas without, you know, problem. But I think Brawling here. Maybe a Keeper of the Grove will live. Ideally, a Keeper of the Grove will live. A Keeper of the Grove didn't live. Shield block. See what we can draw into, or Armorsmith and passive. I think Armorsmith and passive may... I think just playing the Armorsmith. Because using the passive with the shield block, it wouldn't have mattered, because both of them, you know, one grants 5, the other grants 4. So as long as we get at least one of those, I think we're safe from Force of Nature, Savage Roar. With having a 5/5 out. So he's going to cycle or deal 3. So he's going to cycle. He's going to cycle for 1. So he's looking for cards. He just drew into the Shedder. He's going to passive, swing face with passive, and obviously probably kill the Armorsmith with the 5/5. Okay, that makes sense. Normally some people ignore the Armorsmith, and you never want to ignore the Armorsmith. It's just one of those cards that you really don't want to, you know, scoop to the side and act like it's not a big deal. So from here, I think playing the Sylvanas in passive is a safe play. The Baron doesn't really do anything unless we like attack into the Shredder. Hopefully it drops a 2 HP creature, but then it's just going to die to Loatheb anyway. And if we attack with our Loatheb, it's still going to... It's just Baron's not the best play here. And then we can attack into the Shredder with our weapon, but I don't think that's neat, like really that great, because our Sylvanas has the possibility of taking a Shredder, and I'd rather have the Shredder as a whole and not yet killed than just having the creature that comes out of the Shredder. So right now, how much damage does he have? I mean, we have a 33 HP. How much can he do right now? Force of Nature, we can, if he doubles Savage Roar, we're dead. There's no doubt about it. So he's going to Savage Roar times 1. Okay. And he has, what, 12, 18... 25, 27 damage on the field, right? Or 27 damage. So he's... Wow, I think he missed lethal by 2. If I did quick math right. I'm not him, so I don't need to do the math. I'm dead, I'm dead, or I'm not, I'm not. Wow, that sounded retarded. I'm dead if I'm dead, and if I'm not, then I'm not. Alright, so it looks like he wants to kill off the Sylvanas. Hopefully it takes a Shredder or a Loatheb. If it takes one of the little, like, treelings, then it's just gonna die. But at least he won't be able to attack with it. If he... Oh, man. It took... I don't think he attacked with that one yet. Wow. He should have attacked with everything and then killed the Sylvanas. Alright. So, obviously going to execute the... Loatheb, I don't really see a reason not to. We have to kill it. I mean, we're still prone. If he forcing... Yeah, we gotta kill it. There's no way around that. And then we can attack into the Shredder. And if it pops a 2-drop with less than 2 health, we can Baron and passive. Or we could just Baron and end turn and passive. And then he's gonna use he's gonna have to use his passive to kill Baron or a Wrath. So I think... Yeah. So the only way the Baron's gonna be at 1 health, and he's gonna have to deal with that somehow. I guess we could have attacked the Shredder, but if we would have done that, it could have gave him a creature that he could have done Force of Nature, Savage Roar with. So he's gonna attack into the Shredder. He got a 1/4, so our Baron wouldn't have killed it anyway at the end of the turn, and we would have taken 4. All right, so he gave up. Okay, that game was a little lengthy against that Ram Druid. That took some time. Gee willikers. Okay, so heading into our 3rd game now, and like I said, we'll talk about the deck list at the end of the video and whatnot. Kind of discuss each card, how it's used, and all that great stuff. So who are we playing against? The same guy. Wow. I saw a Druid and I'm like, okay, I can deal with this. And I looked at the name and it's definitely the same guy. So we got 2 War Axes, which is nice. I think we're just going to keep one. Keep the golden one for good luck. Because we deserve it. I don't think holding on to both is necessary right now. One will take care of... One War Axe will take care of the Darnassus Aspirant and whatever else he puts out early game. And then besides that, we kind of have to depend on creatures or maybe a Death Spite. So there's nothing for us to do on turn 1 right here. So we can really just hope he... Actually, I think him... I would say normally you would never hope someone to coin out a Darnassus Aspirant, but when you've got a War Axe that'll be able to kill it, you kind of hope they do. So there's the coin into either it's going to be a Wild Growth or an Aspirant. So okay, so he coined out an Aspirant again on turn 2. So this Druid actually has had some pretty good hands so far. So we're just going to use our War Axe, kill off the Aspirant. Sorry guys, I'm getting resituated in my seat here. I was sitting crisscross applesauce, and after a while you stop feeling your legs, which is it's a slight problem sometimes. So we're gonna play the Alkalite. There's really no other play here and end our turn. We're just gonna keep the weapon. We don't have the Despite like we did last game, so attacking with the War Axe really isn't a question. Normally, I guess if you've got the Despite on going into turn 4 and you've got the War Axe and no other 4-drop, then you normally would attack with the War Axe just to get the 3 damage in. But last game we just didn't see that. So 4 drops, we've got none. We're gonna swing for 1, passive, end our turn. Swing for 1. We're gonna do Juan damage right now. And then I'll come over to your house at Juan. I actually have a friend named Juan, and we always used to fuck with him like that. Be like, okay, Juan, we'll be at your house at Juan. Do you need me to tell you that one more time? It was terrible. I felt so bad, but it was so funny. You can't stop. Won't stop. Okay, so we're going to swing into this guy. Bash, passive, swing for 1 end. I really don't see a better play there. Turn 6, we've got Shield Maiden. Turn 8, we've got Hellscream. Just kidding, you normally never play Hellscream on 8 unless you're going to be able to, you know, make significant strides with him, whether it be killing a creature. We're going against a Druid, so I mean, if he plays like an Azure Drake or some other drop that has 4 HP or less, I guess playing him on turn 8 wouldn't be bad. It's going to force him to waste a big game if he has it. Okay, so he Loathub. And that really doesn't stop our Shield Maiden. We're going to swing for 1 again. Look at this Alkalite doing work and end our turn. We're sitting pretty at 34 health. I like it. We're actually in combo range right now, which is so scary. If we were playing any other class, 24 health combo range with a Loathub on the field and him having the potential of 9 mana is pretty crazy, but we're good. So, since it has 5 attack, we cannot big game Hunter. If we were playing a Priest, we could Shadow Word Death, but we're not, obviously. So I think maybe Armor Smith, the attack with Alkalite, execute, just to get rid of the 5/5. We do have Brawl if he plays anything big. Hey, Emperor, we're 1 mana short. Sorry, buddy. You're late to the party. Okay, so turn 8, depending on what he plays. Hellscream's a possibility, but probably not. I'm thinking it's probably going to be just an Emperor passive. Okay, so it's Dr. Boom. Most likely going to Brawl here. Double Armor Smith Brawl? Or we could just big game. Fuck it. Why wouldn't we big game? We could big game double Armor Smith. I really don't see a problem with this. I doubt the bombs are going to do double 4 damage. I mean, we can always hope it doesn't, but we never know. So we'll swing into the bomb. Hopefully it doesn't kill big game. Hopefully it doesn't do 4 damage. Going face for 3. I'm glad it went face. Us taking face damage right now when we have 38 health is just, that's fine. So even a swipe right now. Okay, so Azure Drake to draw 1, bomb on field. He'll probably swing his, oh fuck, swipe with, oh god damn it, fuck. Oh man, swipe with the 2 to everything else is devastating. So we are gonna get a decent amount of armor. A decent amount of armor. And Hellscream into Azure Drake. I do not see a problem with this. I wish, normally if we had 10 mana, I would definitely just use our weapon and then play Emperor, but we don't. So it's one or the other, and the Azure Drake definitely can't live. So we're going to kill off the Azure Drake here, and if he big games our Hellscream, so be it. We just Alexstrasza the following turn, but if he doesn't kill our Hellscream, then that's fantastic because he's pretty big. He lifts 10 damage. 5 health isn't a lot, though, so I mean, he could swipe and passive him. If he attacks into the 10 damage, ooh, buddy. Alexstrasza, I guess, is less useful now. So he, okay. I guess it didn't work out as best as it could because him taking the 10 damage makes Alexstrasza like not that great anymore. So I think we're gonna weapon into this and we'll Emperor like we were gonna do last turn when we had 10 mana. I don't think there's a problem with that, as long as what comes out of the Shredder isn't like a Doomsayer. So let's actually kill the Shredder first and see what comes out, which is one of my tips and 5 quick Hearthstone tips, by the way, guys. Alright, so we're going to Emperor, end our turn. Obviously, if he swings his 3-2 into our 5-5, it's going to have 2 health left, and it's prone to Living Roots and Wrath. But there's really no other play we could have done there that really made sense. I mean, Alex Straza, when he has a Shredder on the field for 4 damage, it just... I would rather save Alex Straza as a defense maneuver normally, because in a lot of games I find against, you know, Ramp, Druid, Hunter, and Mage, they'll get you down to anywhere between 2 to 8 HP, and then when you Alex Straza to heal yourself back up while armoring up, it really takes them off guard and swings the game in your favor. So I really don't need to use Alex Straza right now offensively. We have Brawl and Baron, so he does have a huge card advantage, but it doesn't necessarily matter right now. Oh boy, he played 2-drop that works. Another 2-drop. Oh my god, Baron's gonna get so much value, and an Aspirant. Holy shit, guys. So we can actually Baron. I want a Dr. Boom, but I think just Baron passive right now. It'll kill 3 creatures, and we'll end our turn, and we'll get some more value out of Emperor. But unfortunately, if we attack with our weapon and then there's no point. He already has 10 mana, so the darn Aspirant going off right now really isn't that big of a deal. And I guess we could have done 5 damage to face if we would have swung with the weapon first, but I'd rather keep my weapon and have him. Yeah, he would have been at 12 health, which it would have put him in lethal range, I suppose. We could have attacked with our weapon, but I prefer to hold on to it. I'm greedy. Because now that we held on to it, next turn we'll be able to Dr. Boom, swing directly with our weapon for 4, bring him down to... okay, Force of Nature. And what I was saying was Dr. Boom with the bombs. You can ignite the bombs right away to kind of clear the field or deal more damage. So people don't really expect that combination. Despite use the Death Rattle to trigger Dr. Boom's bombs. So he's going to clear my entire field right now with Force of Nature. So he's already used double Force of Nature, which is fine. So we could actually play Dr. Boom right now and trigger the bombs, but I think we should just kill the Keeper, play Dr. Boom as normal, and then we can shield block if we really want to draw some extra cards, or we can just passive. It doesn't really matter at this point. So let's actually just draw, see what we get. Another Despite, which is fine. Dr. Boom for 6. Even if he was 7, it wouldn't matter. Alex Straza would only bring him down to 2 health, but Dr. Boom is just so much better because of those boom bots that can do up to 4 damage each. In this situation, that is. If he was like at like 20 plus health, I probably would have Alex Straza'd, but because he's at 17, it's really just not worth it. So he's gonna Wrath, deal 3. No, he's gonna cycle 1. Okay, so he's looking for something.
I have no time for games.
Sylvanas. Passive, kill a boom bot. Okay, I really don't see where he's going with this. Next turn, we're just gonna be able to equip a weapon, and then we'll just probably just go face. So he's gonna hit for 2. The bomb is okay. We're just gonna swing for 7, swing for 1, weapon up, swing with the weapon and passive, and then the following turn we're either gonna finish it off with another weapon attack if he doesn't play a taunt, or maybe even the bomb will kill him. Ideally for him, if he attacks Sylvanas into the bomb does 4 to Sylvanas, he takes my Dr. Boom. Okay, so now he's just going for Dr. Boom. He took Dr. Boom. Okay, that's fine.
Where shall I strike?
Taunt? Okay, so he played a taunt, so now we can't get past that, but we do have Brawl. And he's not going to play anything else. So right now, if we just Brawl and the taunt doesn't live, we win because we'll attack directly with our weapon. So as long as that Druid of the Claw doesn't live, we're good. Alright, we win. Nice, nice, nice! And it killed the Dr. Boom, and he Kinsami died. Poor guy, lost to me twice. Feel bad. At least it's different people, it's kind of just like a straight victory, but when you beat the same guy over and over and over again, it's gotta hurt. So anyway, that wraps up our 3 ranked games with the Control Warrior. I'm new to Control. I wouldn't say I'm new to Control Warrior, but I'm not the best with it. I'm still learning it. It's a deck that you don't get overnight, and I understand that. So if I played some things wrong or didn't do the best of my ability, I'm sorry. I try my best and kind of play the games the way I think they should be played. And it's working out all right. But again, for those of you who leave comments like, oh, you missed lethal here, you did this. I appreciate you calling it out. But again, I'm not saying I'm a professional Hearthstone player. I'm like the best that there is. I'm just trying to help out the best I can. So if you do, you do see that I missed something that I should have seen, just call it out. But try not to be rude about it. I mean, I understand if you're rude about it. Do what you want. Never mind. Fuck it. Ignore everything I said. You do you. And anyway, I'm looking up the deck list on the side here, so I can kind of talk about each card. So give me just 1 second, so I can pull that up for you guys, so we can talk about what's in the deck, why it's in the deck, and all that good stuff. All right. So here's the deck list. We'll talk about it. All right. So we're running the two. Let me get a drink real quick. It's gonna be a lot of talking. Alright, so I'm not really going to talk about the just plain and simple basic cards and why they're good. They just are good. And that's going to be Execute and Shield Slam. Those cards, you find those in every warrior deck, whether it's, you know, even Grim Patron was playing Shield Slam at one point in time, along with the Shield Block. So it's just, those are cards that every warrior deck should have. They're stock. I mean, Shield Slam isn't stock, but Execute stock definitely should have that. The War Axe, in my opinion, is one of the best weapons. It's a 2-drop 3/2, so potentially from it, you've got a 3-attack creature that can kill up to 2 targets for 2 mana. That's insane. A Shredder's a 4-drop, and you can kill a 4-drop with a 2-drop. You can kill 2 Shredders, even though they bring out 2 drops. Man, fuck it. Shredder's a horrible example. But you get the point. War Axe is a great card. Armor Smith fits really well because of your whirlwinds from your Despite. Also against, you know, there's a lot of rush decks going on right now. I would say there's a little bit less from when prior to TGT release. There was tons of Face Hunters and tons of Zoolock, but now it's kind of toned down a little bit. But even if you're going against a Paladin deck, which is a very popular class right now, his passive is summon a 1/1 recruit, and your Armor Smith is able to pick off those 1/1 recruits, and you're actually able to get armor from that. It's just a really nice early game card that doesn't put pressure, but is able to kind of clear the field as you see fit, whether it be, you know, killing a Leper Gnome, an Abusive Sergeant, you know, the 1/1 recruits from the Paladin. There's just a number of things that the Armor Smith can be used for, and it also, you know, grants you that armor. So your Shield Slam is able to, you know, you're able to kind of get that off without actually even using your passive or a bash or a shield block. This is a card, we're going to move to Bash. This is a card that when it was first released in TGT, when it was like, you know, they revealed it, a lot of the warrior, well, more the known warrior players and a lot of the better, you know, streamers were saying, I really don't see where this card is going to fit in Control Warrior, you know, 3 mana for only 3 damage, it's just not that great, there's better cards. It's actually, in my opinion, I love this card a lot. I mean, it's a 6 HP swing. If you're going with the face race against someone who's using like a face race, not only do you deal 3, but you gain 3 armor, which is so valuable, again, with your Shield Slam, and then also just being able to make favorable trades with your weapon, because normally, if you're playing, you know, you're playing your weapons and you're attacking creatures, which is the most ideal situation, because that's favorable, because you're able to get rid of more cards with your weapon than, you know, they get to play. So with, let's say a Despite, you're able to kill 2 creatures with just one of your cards. That's a 2-for-1, you know, trade. But when you do that, you're sacrificing health in order to do that. But because the warrior runs, you know, you have armor to kind of replace health, Bash is a great way to, you know, regain some of that damage that you've taken. And also it does 3 damage, which may not seem like a lot, but a lot of the cards now, they have, you know, Shredder has 3 health, Knife Juggler only has 2. When Avenge hits a creature, it gives it 3/2, so if it only has 1 health, it turns into a 4/3. So there's a lot of cards that Brawl can be used, or not Brawl, but Bash can be used on, that you're able to kill the card and also gain the armor, which is really valuable. Shield Block, I'm running 2 of these. A lot of Control Warriors I've seen maybe even drop these or run 1. I like to run 2 because there's not a ton of draw in the deck besides the Acolyte of Pain. So I like having the Shield Block and Acolyte of Pain, because let's say you're going against a Face Hunter and, you know, you top deck a Shield Block. Not only are you getting 5 pretty much health from it, but you're able to draw another card. I've won so many games, or, you know, been able to survive so many games from being able to top deck a Shield Block and draw into like a taunt card, and then so they can't use their passive, or a hunter can't use his passive to finish me off. So I'm running that for the armor, again, with the Shield Slam, and just to, you know, kind of counteract taking so much damage from the weapons, and then also the draw potential. Acolyte of Pain is one of those cards that you see in every single warrior deck. Grim Patron, you know, Control Warrior, Fatigue Warrior. It's just, you can't really go around it. Big Game Hunter is a tech card. It destroys a creature with 7 or more attack. This deck does have, with the Execute, Shield Slam, Brawl, it has a lot of removal already, so if you feel like the Big Game Hunter isn't something you want to play in the deck and you'd rather play something else, that's fine, but I normally like it in there. It's only a 3-drop, and this deck is more so late game than early game, so just having it in there, I feel like really helps continue the removal past, you know, the standard Execute and Shield Slam. Because normally if you're going against a rush deck, you're normally blowing Shield Slam, Executes, your Brawls, and your Bashes very, very early. And normally you may not have anything to deal with some of those later cards that they throw out, whether it be Dr. Boom, Hellscream, if you're playing against, you know, a Druid who somehow uproots his Ancient of War, I don't know. He comes in handy. Running 2 Despites, not even going to go over that. That card's amazing, or that weapon's amazing, I should say. And Brawl. Okay, so normally most warriors run 1 of this card, and it works out pretty well. I originally said that running 1 is enough, 2 is too much. That's a very common thing you'll hear me say, but because of the meta right now and the fact that Secret Paladin is around, I played the deck, so I can't really talk too much shit. The deck's fun for what it is, but for the most part, they have at least 3 to 5 creatures on the field by turn 6 when they're also throwing down their Doctor 6. So if you can brawl once, they expect the brawl, they see it coming, but they never see the double brawl. No one expects the double brawl. So when you double brawl, not only does it, if it sits, there'll be a couple games where it'll sit in your hand, you know, you have double brawl in your hand, you're like, fuck, I should have, you know, it doesn't work out. But most of the time, you won't have double brawl in your hand, and you'll be able to use, you know, 1 throughout the game that'll really help you, and then later on in the game, you're like, man, I wish I had another brawl. Well, you do. Because of Secret Paladin and because of a lot of the cancer decks there right now, whether it be Rush Druid and whatnot, with them playing Fel Reavers, using the Brawl to kind of get rid of a lot of the field that's really bogging the warrior down early game helps out a lot. Double Sledge Belcher, this card is pretty common in a standard warrior, obviously running 2 of those. The Emperor Tharzan reduces every card in your hand by 1, very effective in this deck because there's a lot of high, impact, high cost creatures, and you being able to reduce stuff by 1 is huge in this deck. I would say Emperor, it's probably just as important as, Emperor, using Emperor in a, ramp druid, so you're able to get the combos earlier, and, you're able to force a nature, double Savage Roar, so I would say Emperor is just as important. Obviously, we threw in the Juskar Trueheart because with a warrior, its passive is actually just so broken. I mean, for 2 mana, you get 4 armor, and because it's not, with the priest, you can heal for 4 health, but you're capped off at 30 health. But with armor, it's a whole different story. You're able to get as much armor as you want. There's no cap on the amount of armor you can get. And I've actually tested this. In a game, I went up to 35,000 armor. And if you don't believe me, I'll throw that video in the description. I won't throw it in an annotation because I know you guys won't click on it because you don't give a fuck. But for those of you who do give a fuck, I will actually throw that video in the description if you want to see how I got 35,000 armor to test if there was an armor cap. So I'll do that for you. Running 1 Shield Maiden, normally you run 2 of these, but because I'm running the Juskar Trueheart and the Wind Runner, if we run another Shield Maiden, that's 5 6-drops, and that's a lot of 6-drops. I don't want to get bogged down that bad. Also, she doesn't make a huge difference because we have the double shield block and bash. So we're already making up for armor, and we've already got other 6-drops that are good in stats and have great abilities. So running 2 Shield Maidens is really not that important. 1's fine. The Baron, we've seen why this is good. I honestly, when I first saw Baron, I didn't play him in my Control Warrior. Then after playing against a couple Control Warriors who used him against me and fucked me up, I decided to craft him. I threw him in there and he worked out very well, and you can make some very valuable trades with him like we saw in the first game. I was able to kill, the Emperor Tharzan, the Shield Maiden, I believe it was, and the Slime from the Sledge Belcher, all from his ability. And then he was actually had to use his big game on my Baron, which is a 7/5, instead of using it on something more important such as maybe Dr. Boom or Alexstrasza or Hellscream. Dr. Boom, 7-drop. We've been over this guy. He's that guy. Craft him if you don't. Dr. Boom should be your first legendary, if anything, to craft. You just can't go around not crafting that guy. Hellscream, obviously, it's a warrior deck. You have to run Hellscream. Alexstrasza, you can actually interchange. I would say Ysera is more of a card. I don't know. Alexstrasza and Ysera kind of go together. Control Warrior, in a Control Warrior deck, the Alexstrasza will save you. You can use her offensively, but I also use her defensively. If you're playing against, some of the more aggressive decks, you'll find that you'll, Tempo Mage and Hunter, you'll actually find yourself using Alexstrasza on yourself more so than your opponent. But she's there, and she's a very great card because of that, and she's an 8/8 body. And then Ysera, I'm not even going to go over why that card's good. If you want to know, just look up the card. I mean, getting a free, creating a free card at the end of each turn, and each card she gives you is like, in a specific situations, can win you games almost every single time. So that's great. And if you're wondering why I don't run Rag, there's just not enough room. I guess you could take out a Shield Maiden and throw in a Rag, or take out a Ysera, an Alexstrasza, or a Grommash, but at the same time, you're kind of taking away from what I've built, which is fine. So just keep in mind that when you... Let me exit out of this so we don't really need the deck list anymore. So just keep in mind that when you're playing my decks, this is just the foundation. Change it as you wish. If you ask me why I don't have a particular card in it, it's mostly just preference. Unless it's, it's a core part of the deck. It's like, oh, can I take out Death Bites in a Control Warrior? No, you can't take out fucking Death Bites in a Control Warrior. What the fuck are you doing? That's not a Control Warrior. That's a retard warrior. But if you're, simply saying, hey, can I throw in another Shield Maiden? Of course you can. Change the deck as you please. And honestly, let me know how it treats you and what you've changed and, how you're doing with it. So that wraps up the deck list. Hopefully you've enjoyed this Control Warrior 2.0 deck guide. If you have, let me know in the comment section below. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to post them there as well. I will look over them and reply to them as fast as possible. So, with all of this said, thank you for stopping by the inn, everybody. I appreciate having you. I am Warshack, and happy whatever the hell day it is.